The roar of Empress Zhaori shook the flagship like a storm hitting metal walls. Every officer on the command bridge froze where they stood. Her tall, armored body glowed under the blue lights, and all four of her crystal-tipped arms were trembling with anger. "Who touched my relic?" she shouted. No one answered. In front of her floated a grav table holding the shattered remains of the crown aegis, the sacred armor worn by every Threxian empress for thousands of years. Even broken, it looked alive. Its plates were dark silver, smooth like liquid metal. Strange symbols slid across the surface, trying to shine, then fading again like dying sparks. Now the armor was silent. Empty. Dead. Krith, the chief engineer, stepped forward slowly. His insect-like legs shook as he bowed his head. "Empress, the aegis was damaged in the last battle. The Dominion weapons cut deeper than we expected. The inner core is burned. We do not know how to repair it." Zhaori's eyes glowed with fury. "You had 3 cycles. 3. The Forerunners built this armor to survive ages. And you tell me it cannot be fixed?" Krith lowered his antennae in shame. "No one in the Empire understands the technology. It is beyond anything we have studied." A whisper spread across the bridge. Officers exchanged nervous glances. Everyone knew the truth. Without the crown aegis, their fleet would fall. In 5 days, the Dominion horde would arrive with full force. Without the armor's power and guidance, their empire had little hope. Zhaori lifted the broken chest plate with trembling hands. The plate was cold and heavy. She held it close as if willing it to wake. The dead runes reflected in her red eyes. "When I wear this," she whispered, "I hear the voices of the empresses before me. Their strength, their courage, their memory. Without it, I stand alone." The plate did not answer. Far below the bridge, deep in the lower decks, a human lay inside a narrow maintenance tunnel. Noah Reyes held a plasma torch between his teeth while tightening a coolant pipe. The air tasted like smoke and hot metal. Sweat dripped into his eyes as he worked in the cramped space, his hands moving with calm skill. He heard a faint roar vibrate through the deck. The Empress again. She shouted often, but this one sounded different. Sharper. Desperate. Noah wiped his forehead with a dirty sleeve. 3 months ago, his cargo ship was captured. Instead of locking him in a cell, the Threxians dragged him to the engine rooms and told him to fix things. He fixed everything they threw at him. They called him primitive because he had no implants, no extra limbs, no alien tools. But he could look at a broken device and understand it, sometimes faster than their own engineers. He didn't mind the insult. It kept him alive. As he crawled backward, voices drifted through the vents above him. He paused and listened. Crown Aegis. Forerunner core destroyed. No repair possible. Noah blinked. Forerunner. A word he had only seen in old human research files. Myths about a lost builder race. Most believed the stories were fake. But the tone in those alien voices, it wasn't myth. It was fear. More words followed. Quantum lattice, fused pathways, impossible. Noah frowned. He had worked with quantum systems in the Terran Defense Corps. Not this advanced, maybe, but he knew a pattern when he heard one. Impossible usually meant we tried everything we know, but not everything that exists. He stared up at the vent. If their miracle armor was dying, and no alien could fix it, maybe a human could. The ship groaned as the Empress roared again, her voice filled with hopeless rage. Dust drifted from the ceiling. Noah slid out of the tunnel and grabbed his tool bag. "If everyone says it's impossible," he murmured, "that's usually the best time to try." In the silent lower decks of the Obsidian Crown, one human made a quiet decision. And far above, on the bridge, an Empress clutched her dead armor and swore she would not face the coming war alone. Noah waited until shift change, when the hallways grew quiet and most officers moved to their meal stations. The Obsidian Crown was a massive ship with hundreds of hidden passages. After months of crawling through its guts, he knew every shortcut and every blind corner. He kept his tool bag close as he slipped into a service duct that led towards central engineering, the heart of the ship, and the place where the Empress's relic had been taken for study. No human was allowed there. No low-ranking alien either. Only elite engineers and royal technicians. Noah wasn't elite anything, but he could move silently, and curiosity pushed him forward harder than fear pulled him back. The duct opened into a high walkway overlooking the engineering bay. Below him, glowing consoles lit the room in shifting colors: blue, green, orange, reflecting off metal floors like living fire. At the center of the chamber floated the broken crown aegis, surrounded by scanning beams and flickering holograms. Alien engineers of 4 different species circled it in frustration. They spoke in sharp whispers. Their body language was clear even without knowing their languages: fear, confusion, helplessness. One slammed a tool onto a table. Another paced in circles, claws clicking on the floor. A third covered her face with 2 trembling hands. Noah stayed hidden, his eyes locked on the armor. Even shattered, it was beautiful. The runes on its surface pulsed with faint light like a heartbeat trying to return. Something about it felt familiar, a shape he couldn't understand yet. When the engineers finally left for their break, the room fell silent. Noah took a slow breath. "Okay," he whispered. "Time to be stupid." He dropped from the walkway, landing quietly behind a storage crate. He stepped out from the shadows. The metallic hum of the room greeted him. He approached the grav table. The armor was bigger up close, tall enough for someone much larger than him. But the inner structure, the spacing between joints, the curve of the helmet, the connection ports, those details pulled at his memory. He touched the armor. It was warm. A soft vibration tingled under his fingertips. There was still power inside, hiding deep in the broken core. Noah leaned closer. Lines of symbols ran across the chest plate, curling like living script. At first they looked completely alien. Then he noticed something odd. One symbol resembled an ancient human letter from old museum records. Another looked like a spiral he had once seen in a Terran research report about lost civilizations. "Are you kidding me?" he whispered. Before he could look closer, the door hissed open. 6 arms clicked in annoyance. Krith entered, followed by 2 other engineers. A bird-like alien with long feathered limbs and a tall reptilian with scales that changed color with emotion. All 3 froze when they saw Noah touching the relic. "Human," Krith snapped, his antennae stiff with shock. "This chamber is restricted. Step away." Noah lifted his hand slowly. "I heard the relic was damaged. Thought I could help." The bird-like alien let out a chirping laugh. "Help? Your kind barely understands basic warp engines." The reptilian engineer smirked, scales turning bright yellow. "If the relic explodes, at least we will know why." Krith crossed his arms. "This armor was built by the Forerunners. They conquered half the galaxy before your people invented fire." "Maybe," Noah said calmly. "But you've tried everything and it still doesn't work. Let me take a look." The room went silent. The engineers exchanged glances. They weren't afraid the human would break the armor, because according to them, it was already beyond breaking. Finally, the bird-like alien shrugged. "Let the mammal try. If nothing else, it will entertain us." Krith lowered his head, annoyed but curious. "Fine. 5 minutes. Do not touch the core." Noah nodded, stepped forward, and lifted the largest piece, the chest plate. It was heavy but balanced, designed for strength and mobility. More important, the inner wiring made sense to him in a way he couldn't explain. He traced a burnt conduit, then followed it to a cracked junction. "You tried powering the lattice directly," Noah said. "Yes," Krith replied. "It failed. You tried replacing the crystal matrix." "We attempted 6 different forms." Noah slid his finger under the wiring. The metal hummed. "Did you try bypassing the Forerunner crystal completely?" he asked. "Just to see if the outer channels respond." Krith stared. "Why would we? The crystal is the heart." "Because maybe the heart isn't the problem. Maybe the pathways are." The bird-like alien blinked. "Explain." Noah set down his tool bag and pulled out a bundle of simple wires: copper, scrap metal, small converters. Primitive junk by alien standards. With gentle hands, he connected a bypass across the armor flickered, then glowed brighter than before. All three engineers stepped back, stunned. The armor was responding. Slowly, weakly, but alive. How? Krith whispered. Noah exhaled. Simple systems stay alive longer than complex ones. You were trying to replace perfection with perfection. You forgot everything perfect starts simple first. The room was silent except for the soft hum of returning power. The human had done in seconds what alien engineers could not do in days. Krith stared at him with new eyes. Human, he said slowly, who taught you this? Noah looked at the glowing armor. Experience, he said, and a feeling that this tech isn't as alien as everyone thinks. The armor hummed like a sleeping beast stretching for the first time in centuries. Faint light flowed through lines that had been dark for generations. The air around the grav table warmed, carrying a soft metallic scent, almost like rain hitting old stone. The alien engineers stepped closer, their eyes wide with disbelief. This should not be possible, the reptilian whispered. His scales shifted from yellow to a trembling blue. Noah didn't answer. He was too focused. He didn't know exactly what he was feeling, but the armor almost recognized him, as if it understood the simple circuits he had added, as if it appreciated the crude repair more than the advanced methods the aliens had forced on it. He adjusted one of the wires. A deeper hum rose from within the armor, like a throat clearing. The bird-like engineer flapped one wing nervously. The Relic has not produced a stable signal like this in centuries. Krith leaned in, studying Noah's bypass. This wiring is primitive. It should overload instantly. Only if you expect perfection, Noah said softly. But old systems often work better with simple fixes. Krith tilted his head. You speak as though you understand the Forerunner design. Noah hesitated. How could he explain that the inner layout, its symmetry, the node spacing, the angles of the circuits, felt strangely familiar? It was like hearing a melody he had forgotten long ago. He placed his hand over the chest plate again. The armor pulsed under his palm. Warm. Alive. Then something happened he did not expect. A whisper slid into the room. Not a voice from someone standing there. A voice from inside the armor. A faint sound, like wind passing through an ancient cave, forming words in a broken, old dialect. Noah froze. The alien stiffened, feathers rising, scales tightening, antennae standing rigid. What was that? The reptilian hissed. Krith scanned the air. There is no external source. The whisper came again, stronger this time. More clear. More human. Noah knew the sound of old Terran dialects from historical recordings. But this voice was older, rougher, the kind spoken by early starfarers long before Earth's modern era. He could almost understand it. Link, restore memory. His heart hammered. He swallowed hard. There's something stored inside the armor. Krith's antennae twitched. Impossible. The Relic's memory core has always shown as corrupted. Noah shook his head slowly. Not corrupted. Hidden. He knelt and checked the neural spine inside the backplate. The damage was obvious. Burned links, melted pathways. But beneath the destruction, he saw a pattern. A human pattern. This isn't built for you, Noah whispered, staring at the inner shape. The positioning, the nerve entry points, it's all wrong for Threxian biology. The reptilian frowned. Are you saying the Forerunners built armor for your kind? For your species? Noah didn't answer directly. I'm saying it wasn't built for someone with 4 arms. Krith took a step back. This is impossible. Humans are new to space travel. Maybe modern humans are, Noah said quietly. But maybe someone else came long before us. Silence swallowed the room. The armor's runes dimmed, then brightened again like a heartbeat seeking its rhythm. Noah reached into his tool bag and pulled out a small notebook he kept hidden. Inside were rough sketches he'd made over weeks, diagrams, wire paths, strange symbols he'd seen around the ship. Now he flipped to a page showing a set of curves he had copied from the engineering bay walls weeks ago. He held it next to the armor. The symbol on the armor matched one of his drawings. It couldn't be, he whispered. He heard himself breathing fast. The room felt smaller. He ran more tests, connected more wires. Each time he made a bridge or bypass, the armor reacted, almost as if guiding him where to touch next. The bird-like engineer finally spoke. Human, are you repairing this relic by instinct alone? Noah didn't look up. Not instinct. Logic. And something else. The reptilian stepped closer. You are shaking. He was. But not from fear. From recognition. He plugged in a stabilizer coil he had crafted from scrap. The armor's glow sharp. Runes aligned into a steady flow of symbols. A deep vibration filled the bay like low thunder. The armor was waking. Krith stumbled backward. It has not been this stable since before I was born. Noah exhaled. It's responding because someone finally treated it the way it was meant to be treated. And how is that? The bird-like alien asked. Not like alien magic, Noah said, but like technology built by hands that think like mine. The room fell into a stunned silence again. Krith stared at him as if seeing him for the first time. Human, what are you? Noah looked at the living armor. I'm starting to wonder that myself. The armor's pulsing light faded to a steady glow, as if settling into a calm heartbeat. Noah stepped back, wiping sweat from his forehead. The alien engineers remained silent, their eyes fixed on the relic like worshippers staring at a waking god. Krith broke the silence first. This behavior, these signals, they should not exist. His antennae trembled. The relic never showed memory activity. Not once. The reptilian engineer leaned closer. Yet it responded to the human's touch. Why? Why him? Noah opened his mouth to answer, but nothing he could say made sense. He wasn't a chosen one. He wasn't special. He was a cargo technician who barely passed engineering school back on Earth. But the armor had reacted to him. Not by accident. He forced himself to stay calm. Look, I don't know what's going on, but I know machines. I know patterns. And this armor feels built for hands like mine. The bird-like alien tilted her head. You mean human hands? He didn't confirm it. Not yet. He wasn't ready to say the words out loud. Noah packed his tools, but before he left the room, something on the armor caught his eye. The runes on the spine had shifted, not randomly, but forming a repeating cycle. A pattern. A sequence. A message. One symbol stood out, a spiral with 3 small dots under it. He had seen it somewhere before. His brain scrambled through memories. Then it clicked. A museum exhibit, years ago on Earth. Ancient carvings. A crude stone tablet recovered from an archaeological dig. Scientists claimed it belonged to a prehistoric human tribe, but no one ever explained why the markings didn't match any known Earth culture. He remembered standing in front of that tablet as a boy, tracing the spiral symbol with his finger. Now it glowed on alien armor. His stomach tightened. Okay, this can't be a coincidence. Krith stepped closer. Human, what are you seeing? Noah hesitated, then shook his head. Nothing I can prove yet. But I need more information. The reptilian scoffed. And where do you think you will find that? You are a prisoner. You cannot roam freely. Maybe, Noah said. But there's someone who can help me. Hours later, after pretending to return to his assigned maintenance tasks, Noah quietly slipped into the lower corridors again. The ship grew darker the deeper he went. The walls hummed with the low rhythm of power conduits. Footsteps echoed behind sealed doors. Noah reached Archive Sector 12, a quiet place filled with shelves, relic cases, and blinking data pillars. The Guardians here rarely paid attention to the human workers. There was one in particular Noah trusted. Dr. Lena Viss, another human captured during the same ambush that took Noah. She once worked as a researcher on Earth, specializing in early human artifacts and lost cultures. Now she cataloged ancient alien items under strict watch. She sat alone at a long table, studying a crystal data tablet through a lens. Lena, Noah whispered. She looked up sharply, fear flashing in her eyes. Noah, what are you doing here? This section is restricted after curfew. I know. I need your help. She lowered the lens, noticing his pale face and shaking hands. What happened? Noah glanced at the door to make sure no aliens were near. Then he pulled a small sound device from his pocket, a recorder made from broken comm chips. He pressed play. The whispering voice from the armor echoed between the shelves. Soft. Ancient. Human. Lena froze. Her breath caught in her throat. She played it again, leaning forward, listening harder. That is old Terran, she whispered. A very early version. Pre-Unity era. Pre-colonial. Noah swallowed. So I'm not crazy. No, she said. You're holding a piece of human history. Something older than our modern space age. She stood up suddenly and began grabbing files, crystal tablets, mapped symbols, ancient carvings. Her hands shook with excitement and fear. Noah, listen to me. She pushed several images toward him. Maps of runes. Fragments of old inscriptions. Look at this symbol. the spiral with 3 dots. He stared at it. It was the exact symbol glowing on the relic. Lena's voice dropped to a whisper. I found this in the Threxian records. They believed the Forerunners were a powerful alien race that vanished. "10,000 years ago. But these symbols." She showed another fragment. Then another. Each one matched shapes on the armor. "These weren't made by Threxians," she said. "They weren't made by any alien species we know." Noah's mouth went dry. "Say it." Lena took a slow breath. "These inscriptions match early human patterns. Not modern. Ancient. Almost forgotten." The room seemed to tilt. "Noah," she whispered. "I think the Forerunners were humans." He sat down heavily, the words hitting him like a wave. For months the aliens called him primitive. For weeks he felt lost, far from home. And now he learned that humans might have once ruled the stars long before the Threxians ever existed. Lena leaned in close, eyes sharp. "If the Empress learns this, everything changes. Humans won't be seen as weak anymore. Some species will fear us. Some will want to use us. Some will want to destroy us." Noah clenched his fists. He thought of the armor warming under his touch, the whispering voice inside it, the runes shifting like memories waking up. "This relic," he said softly, "it's not just old tech." Lena nodded. "It's a message from our past." Noah exhaled slowly, a mixture of fear and purpose rising within him. "And we need to find out why it came back to life now." The first alarm struck the ship like a punch of sound. A deep, echoing horn rippled through every deck of the Obsidian Crown. Red lights flashed across the corridors. The entire ship vibrated as engines shifted to full battle readiness. Noah snapped his head up as the warning continued. "Dominion fleet detected. Distance, 1 hour. All units to stations." He exchanged a terrified glance with Lena. "They're early," she whispered. Noah's stomach tightened. The relic wasn't fully repaired. Its systems were awake, but not stable. The Empress needed hours, maybe days, to reconnect fully. But now the Dominion was here, and they wouldn't wait. Noah ran. He sprinted through metal hallways glowing with red emergency lights. Threxian guards rushed past him, their armor clattering. Officers shouted orders. Fighters launched from hangars like a swarm of metal insects. By the time Noah reached Central Engineering, it was chaos. Krith and a dozen engineers scrambled around the relic. Sparks shot from consoles. Holograms flickered with error codes. The room shook as the ship took its first distant hit. Krith spun to Noah with panic in all 6 eyes. "Where have you been? We need you. What happened?" Noah shouted over the alarms. The Dominion jumped closer than predicted. Their weapons outrange ours. The Empress demands the relic at full power. Noah stared at the armor. It lay on the grav table, glowing faintly but unevenly. The runes blinked in wild, chaotic patterns. "It's not ready," Noah said. "If she wears it like this, she will die." Krith finished. "Yes, but without it, we will all die." The doors hissed open. The room fell silent. Empress Scifi entered wearing ceremonial battle gear, plates of obsidian black metal lined with crystal edges. Her forearms moved with slow precision. Her eyes glowed bright red, sharper than Noah had ever seen. Behind her stood 8 royal guards, each twice Noah's height. Scifi looked at the relic. "Is it ready?" Noah stepped forward before Krith could lie. "No, Empress. The systems are unstable. Some pathways are still fragile. If you connect now, the armor could overload." Her eyes locked onto him. "Human, you say the relic listens to you. It doesn't listen. Then make it ready." Noah swallowed hard. He could feel the ship trembling as another hit struck the shields. The Dominion wasn't waiting. Their first wave was already firing. Krith whispered, "We have maybe 20 minutes until they break our front line." Scifi stepped onto the raised platform. "Begin the activation." Noah shook his head. "Empress, if I don't tune the neural systems correctly, the armor might flood your mind with raw data. It could stop your heart. It could burn your brain." Scifi's voice did not waver. "Better my mind burns than my people die." Noah felt something shift in his chest. Respect. Fear. Both. He turned to the armor and grabbed his tool bag. "Fine, but I need total access. No interruptions." Krith barked to the engineers. "Clear the table. Let the human work." Noah climbed onto the platform. The armor glowed warmer as he approached, as if sensing urgency. The runes steadied when his hands touched the plates. "Good," he whispered. "Stay with me." The ship shook violently. An explosion echoed through the walls. Zauri braced herself. "Status," a young officer yelled through the comm. "Shield wall collapsing on the forward sector. We are outnumbered 2-1. Noah worked faster. He pulled open the spinal casing. Sparks burst out. He shielded his face, then forced 2 wires into place, bridging a burned lattice point. The armor responded, runes sliding into alignment. Half the engineers gasped. "It listens to him," one whispered. Noah didn't answer. Sweat dripped from his hair. His fingers moved with fast precision, switching converters, patching circuits, redirecting power through the simple copper paths he built earlier. Then, the neural core flickered. A sharp static voice echoed from inside. A human voice. "Stand ready, Empress." Noah froze for half a second. Zauri did too. "What was that?" she demanded. Noah swallowed. "A memory. From one of the first users." "Then activate it," she ordered. "Let their strength join mine." He tightened the last plate and stepped back. "The relic will respond now, but it will mirror your emotions. If you enter with rage, it will push you into reckless violence. You need clarity." Zauri stared at him, surprised by the boldness of his tone. Then she nodded once. "Begin." The armor opened like unfolding petals. She stepped inside. The plates sealed around her body with deep metallic clicks. Energy flowed through the room, shaking the air. The runes across the armor blazed to life, bright, silver, almost blinding. Her eyes snapped open behind the helmet visor. They weren't red anymore. They glowed the same silver as the relic. Zauri's voice echoed through the comm speakers, layered with other voices, ancient voices. "I hear them, all of them. The rulers before me. And others, unknown." Noah whispered under his breath, "You're hearing humans." But she didn't understand that yet. The ship rocked again. The lights flickered. Krith shouted, "Empress, the Dominion has breached the outer defense line." Zauri stepped forward, each motion echoing with power. The armor no longer looked like a relic. It looked like a living storm. She pointed all 4 arms toward the door. "Open the path," she commanded. "We fight." The guards bowed and followed. As the Empress marched toward the battle, Noah felt the floor tremble beneath her steps, as if the relic recognized the war ahead and hungered for it. Krith looked at Noah, terrified and amazed. "What did you wake inside her?" Noah gripped the edge of the table. "History," he said quietly, "and something that remembers us." The Empress marched out of engineering like a moving thunderhead. The relic armor glowed brighter with every step she took. Officers pressed themselves against the walls as she passed. Even the armed guards kept a careful distance. She was no longer just Empress Zauri. She was something ancient awakened. Noah ran after her with Krith and the engineers, dodging soldiers and sparks dripping from damaged ceiling panels. The further they went, the louder the battle became. Distant explosions shook the ship. The lights flickered and dimmed. The entire corridor trembled under the weight of enemy fire. They reached the tactical command deck. There, under a curved screen showing the battlefield, stood dozens of officers shouting over alarms. Red icons filled the holographic map, Dominion ships. "Too many. Empress," the commander shouted. "We have lost Sector 3. Their destroyers outflank us." Zauri stepped into the center of the room. The relic armor chimed with a resonance that silenced the shouts. Her voice came out layered with echoes, as if many rulers spoke at once. "Feed me your battle grid." A console lit before her. Data streamed into her helmet. Noah watched the armor stiffen, then relax as the neural bridge synced. Krith whispered nervously, "This is beyond any Threxian design. Even our most advanced battle suits cannot process this much data." Noah didn't answer. He was already studying the armor readouts from a nearby console. Something wasn't right. Runes glowed in the wrong sequence. One of the inner lattice nodes pulsed too fast. The armor was overpowering itself. Noah grabbed a cable and plugged it into an auxiliary port. Instantly, the monitor flooded with alien symbols, readings, and pathways. Krith gasped. "Human, that port is reserved for high-level intelligence links." "Good," Noah said, "because I need full access." He typed fast, navigating the strange interfaces by instinct. He wasn't reading the Threxian symbols. He was reading the logic behind them. The structure felt familiar, almost human. He redirected power flow and stabilized 2 circuits. The armor's glow softened into a steady pulse. Perfect. Meanwhile, Zhaori raised 2 of her arms. Tactical units, she commanded. Prepare for synchronized strike. Dominion ships filled the screen, approaching like a metal storm. Then everything happened at once. The Empress moved. In a flash, she transmitted commands to every ship in the fleet. Her armor linked the vessels together, forming a unified combat network. The Threxian fleet, normally scattered and slow to respond, suddenly moved like a single creature with one mind. Ships dodged in perfect timing. Shields overlapped seamlessly. Their lasers struck weak points on Dominion hulls with precise accuracy. Officers froze at their stations, stunned. "She's controlling the entire line," one whispered. Noah saw it too. Data poured down the screens. Hundreds of tiny decisions flowed through the Relic into her mind. She wasn't thinking faster. She was thinking beyond them. But even as she fought, Noah saw the danger. The Relic was devouring energy. It was hungry, far hungrier than any armor had the right to be. Krith stared at the readings. If this continues, Empress Zhaori's neural pathways will overload. The armor will tear her mind apart. Noah clenched his jaw. Not if we guide it. He rerouted excess power into the ship's auxiliary cores. The armor's hum softened, and Zhaori focused again with clarity. She spoke to the entire fleet at once. Turn formation. Rotate shields. Strike at Vector 9. Dozens of ships obeyed instantly. A Dominion dreadnought exploded, its shockwave rippling across the holographic field. Cheers broke out on the deck. But the Dominion wasn't done. A second wave jumped into the system, larger, heavier, bristling with weapons. They fired immediately. The obsidian crown shuddered violently. Consoles sparked. Officers fell. The Empress knelt from the shock, then slowly rose. Her armor blazed like a star. "Human," she said sharply, without looking back, "guide the flow." Noah didn't hesitate. He poured through the data streams, adjusting pathways, changing priorities. He boosted her cognitive processing when the Dominion jammed signals. He shifted armor energy to shields when a blast targeted the flagship. He redirected excess power into the Relic's core when it risked overheating. Every adjustment changed the battle outside. Every move became a chain reaction of survival. He wasn't fighting beside her. He was fighting through her. At one point, the Relic armor surged so violently that the lights across the command deck flickered. Zhaori cried out in pain. A flare of silver shot from her helmet like a burst of lightning. Noah acted immediately. Shunt power. Now, he slammed a hand on the console, forcing a full-cycle reset through the gauntlet's neural bridge. The Empress gasped, then exhaled. The armor steadied. She spoke again, stronger. "Thank you, human." But Noah barely heard her, because something new had appeared on his console. A faint, hidden data stream. Not Threxian. Not Dominion. A fragment of encrypted code flowing directly through the armor. He tapped it. A translated line appeared. "For the second awakening. For the children who return." Chills crawled up Noah's arms. Before he could study it further, the Dominion flagship appeared on the screen, massive, glowing with crimson engines. It aimed straight at them. The commander screamed, "Brace for impact." Zhaori raised all 4 arms. "Human," she said, voice echoing with ancient power, "with me." Noah placed both hands on the console. Human instinct and alien power aligned. The Relic armor roared to life. Together, they launched the final strike. The Dominion flagship fired first. A beam of red plasma lit the darkness like a burning scar across space. The obsidian crown shook so violently that Noah nearly fell from the console. Sparks shot from cracked ceiling panels. Officers grabbed railings. The shields screamed under the impact. "Direct hit to forward array," someone shouted. Shields collapsing. The Dominion flagship charged another blast. Empress Zhaori did not flinch. The Relic armor glowed so bright it sharpened the shadows across the command deck. Her posture straightened, and for a moment she looked carved from pure silver fire. Noah felt the armor's energy through the data stream, wild, ancient, overwhelming. He tightened his grip on the console. "We cannot take another hit," Krith shouted. Zhaori spoke quietly, but her voice vibrated through the ship. "We will not." She extended all 4 arms. Noah saw the readings spike. The armor was pulling energy from everywhere and used conduits, backup cells, even lights flickered as it drained power from non-critical systems. Noah panicked. Empress, that's too much. The neural core will overload. Guide it, she said. As you have done. He breathed hard and moved through the data with trembling fingers. The armor was absorbing far more than its original limit, but the pathways he patched earlier held. Barely. The relic had awakened fully now, and Noah could feel it, not through sight, through instinct. Like a pressure behind his eyes, a distant echo whispering across time. Zauri lowered her hands. Target their flagship, she commanded. The ship's cannons aligned. Noah saw something strange happening in the data stream. New connections activating inside the relic. New segments of runes coming alive. A deeper layer of memory. Lines unfolded on his screen, translating into human text. Phase lock protocol. Engage only with bonded partner. His blood froze. The armor was trying to do something it had not done for thousands of years. Empress, he said slowly. The relic wants full synchronization. What does that mean? She asked. It means it wants me to connect too. The officers gasped. Krith choked on his breath. Impossible. A human cannot share a Forerunner link. But Noah understood. The relic recognized him. It had been responding to him from the beginning. It waited for someone who matched the original builders. The Dominion flagship fired again. The shot glowed like a red sun as it flew toward them. Noah made his choice. He slammed his hand onto the secondary neural port. The relic armor screamed to life. Every rune across the Empress's body blazed white. The entire ship vibrated as if caught